Hello and welcome back to a special F1 Fan Behavior F1 podcast YouTube video.
Nailed it.
Our Saudi Arabia GP pyramid ranking.
Woo.
Another week, another ranking. For those who missed it maybe last, if this is the first time you're seeing this, after every race recap, we're going to do a pyramid ranking. I keep gesturing to our non-existent pyramid, and we're going to keep doing that until there's something here.
Yeah.
We have talked about getting a whiteboard or something, which I think would
really
be fun.
Do dramatic. It would be fun to dramatically reveal them.
To rip it off. And we could even move the set a little closer to the camera to kind of make it more of a personal thing. So we're a work in progress as always, but that's a hope and dream for us down the line. But
it took us a year to get here,
right. Slowly but surely we're making moves.
Yeah.
So every race we will do this ranking. Should we just jump into it?
Yeah.
All right.
Dive in.
So for those, again, we have a 4-tier pyramid. Bottom tier being, the worst performers of the week. First, worst, just absolute terrible. The driver idiotic comments that were made this week. And idiotic maybe isn't even strong enough of a word. Insensitive comments, lame ass comments, loser, capital L comments.
They were just void of
empathy.
Of anything.
And empathy and care for the people around them. And, you know who you are. Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, Alex Albon, Lando Norris. Anyone that opened their mouth this week besides Lewis Hamilton.
Just to name a few.
And also, and I think we can put Christian Horner in this whole thing too. Just everything that's gone on with this whole situation has been absolute garbage, trash, dumpster fire. And you are at the bottom, and you will stay at the bottom until
you're not.
And
only you can determine.
And only you can determine that. And we're tired.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's stop giving them air.
Okay. The next person on the pyramid, which is just to keep the bad vibes rolling, FIA president Mohammed bin Sulayem, for allegedly nothing has been confirmed as of right now, but allegedly being accused of interfering with race results from last season. If this is true,
2 thumbs down.
Trash. And we said this in our race recap podcast, but for those people that accuse Drive to Survive fans, women, F1 fangirlies who post, TikToks on the internet and do edits and stuff like that we are ruining your sport, look elsewhere.
Look inside the sport.
Yeah, because
and then get back to me.
That's real corruption. That's real. I mean, and also if that is true, justice for George Russell, who missed out on a podium.
Amen. And also, I know what some of you are going to say. Innocent until proven guilty. Sure.
Yeah.
But does this shock you?
Yeah.
Do you believe this could be a possibility? Because if you do, there's a problem.
There's a problem. Right. Exactly.
Because there are some people that an accusation like that would come out and you'd be like, that's preposterous.
Yeah. This
doesn't feel preposterous.
Yeah. This is a systemic issue. This is also very much giving me everything that's gone on in the last handful. And this is not something that you're probably going to be really aware of, but it's giving FIFA. It's giving the, organization FIFA that it's been so corrupt. And I mean, the reason why Qatar held a World Cup and Russia and it was just rotten to the core.
But those are great places.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Their governments are top notch.
We're gonna get
let's talk about number 3
lists.
Yeah, I don't want to be on any lists. Let's talk about Pierre.
Okay, spoiler.
Yeah,
third on the bottom, Pierre Gasly. Not necessarily his fault. It really isn't his fault. I mean, the qualifying wasn't good, but the car is garbage.
Yeah.
He then has a gearbox issue on the formation lap. Has to DNF. And
did he even get a full lap in?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I think
maybe part way, and then they were like, okay, well, box because we're gonna have to retire the car.
Just a real
made me giggle.
Shitty weekend for him. Shitty time. I mean, Alpine
That's a bummer.
Is just, I don't know. And I was gonna say, I mean, we talked about this last week, how we wondered if he questioned or if he was regretting leaving what was AlphaTauri, now Visa Cash App RB, but it wasn't like they were any better this week, really.
No.
So,
but at least their cars were working.
At least the cars were moving forward. And I mean, I guess not really. Some of them were moving backwards. What?
No, they were always moving forward.
Spinning
People
around.
just, oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just I hope for their sake, for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's sake, and everyone else that's invested their Ryan Reynolds, their energy and time to the sport. But here's the thing, right? We say this: not everyone can be good. Like there does have to be a worse team
for sure,
and you never want to see someone be terrible. But
no, but I just
competitive.
I think what's a bummer is that in a lot of these, oh God. Excuse me. A lot of these issues with the Alpine are completely out of the driver's hands, and it's frustrating.
Exactly.
Because they don't even get to like try and show what they're capable of.
Right.
Because the car stops.
I mean, Esteban actually did okay. I mean, he wasn't like, I think he came in like 12th or 13th or something. Like, it wasn't actually terrible from him, but not great. And then the final bottom spot on the pyramid is Carlos Sainz's appendix, which decided to stop working essentially this weekend and
potentially ruptured
and forced Carlos into surgery. It did end up giving us a nice moment, but I felt for Carlos and it's
especially after last week.
Exactly. He had such a great week last week. I do think though it probably is best case in a way. Like at least he did have a great performance last week and didn't have like a terrible performance. And then
Chinese farmer.
You never know what's going to happen next. All right, on to our third tier. This is the not great, not good, but hey, at least we are talking about you. First is Lewis Hamilton, who had a bad qualifying. Once again, almost got out in Q2, was very lucky to get into, I think it was 7,000ths of a second or something that he got into Q3, out qualified again by George. The race, he was on a bad strategy, and so I don't fault him for where he finished in the race because it was the wrong strategy call. But it's just weird. And it's just a bummer. And I'm ready for him to get to Ferrari. I want him to feel like reinvigorated and new spirit. But positive to Lewis for always supporting, always being an ally.
His place on the pyramid is strictly race related.
He is, the only one who's worth any sort of claps this weekend for the things that have come out of his mouth. So good job to Lewis. Next, K-Mag. Speak on it.
Guys, what a showing. So K-Mag was had 20 seconds of penalties. But he was, and the reason he's here is because it was pretty badass what he was doing. However, it is kind of weird that he was allowed to screw up a lot of other races to help out his teammate. I was just really impressed to see, I think they've really squashed their beef, Hulk and K-Mag, but it was nice to see them kind of work together. I don't feel like I've ever really seen Haas need to fight together in that way. And it was nice. I know we see team orders and teamwork sometimes, but it felt like this was the first time that it was the whole team was on board with what was going on. And it was just kind of funny, and fun to watch.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about last week with the Daniel Yuki team orders and why they would put those in place. Because again, if Daniel had gotten through sooner and could have gotten in a position where then if there was a DNF or something and he could have gotten points, that 1 point that Haas now has puts them 6th in the constructors. 1 point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that 1 point could be the difference between them finishing in any position, right? And so and the bottom teams, the 5 bottom teams, essentially, it's going to be so difficult for them to get points because the other top teams basically are hogging all the points positions, which is, once again, I'm asking, give points for every position. This is ridiculous. We should be as invested in who finishes 12th and 13th as we are who finishes 6th and 7th. I don't
agree.
I don't get it. And also the cars are too reliable these days. I
also feel like fastest lap should be able to go to anybody. You don't have to get points to get fastest lap.
Yeah. Because again, we're going to have these teams who are fighting for it to maybe if they can get 1 point, because again, but this is why these things happen. And because these 1 point, 2 points can make a huge difference in this, in the standings. So
I think it was just fun to watch them also just drive competitively and not just loop around and be in the back.
Exactly. And then the next on the third tier is Yuki, who had a very strong qualifying, always is quick in qualifying, but then was just fallen back in the race. And I mean, he, probably got he did, because there was a penalty, got, I think K-Mac cut in front of, cut the corner, got in front of him. And it kind of messed up Yuki's race. I think the RB has like terrible straight line speed, so he just like could never get past him.
Yeah.
And then he got passed by Esteban, and then he got passed by Alex, and then he almost got passed by Logan. And it just wasn't a great race, but he still had a good qualifying, and so.
And props for the calmness. There was one radio in particular where he was just very level headed in a time where I thought he'd be flying off the handle.
Yeah.
So
no, he was good. Okay, second tier. This is, you had a good weekend, but it wasn't quite perfect. So we decided to say McLaren because Oscar Piastri came in fourth, which was a really strong, and I think kind of an under-discussed performance. That was a really, really strong performance from him. Beat Lando. Again, Lando is on the not preferred strategy.
Right.
But I think we're starting to see this battle between Lando and Oscar is going to be very, very interesting over the course of the season.
Agreed.
They're apparently now they're third in the constructors standing, which is, I mean, again, 2 races in, there's lots of time to mess it up, but they look strong.
They do, and I'm excited to see what Oscar does at his home race.
Yes, Australia
and I hope
next.
He doesn't have an issue like Checo had at his home race last year. But
no, that kind of luck would happen to someone like Daniel.
Yeah. But I will say the Melbourne race last year was crazy, right?
That was the red flag.
Yeah.
The 2 red flags.
Yeah. So
it was kind of a disaster of a race.
I know,
honestly.
but it was fun.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're just like, okay, wait, how many more times are going to, they're always like, we're waiting for a safety car. I'm like, guys, you are the ones who told us that the reliability of these cars is through the roof these days. Now, but we can't just rely on a safety car,
Yeah.
But that one feels probable that there's.
Yeah. And the tough thing about that though is Australia, obviously for us, it's so late in the evening, early hours in the morning that it's like, you're just like, okay, like the red flag I think we didn't get to bed till like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it took so long.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Our favorite.
And then the next on the second tier is Mr. Checo Clackers Perez, because, and this is a common occurrence for him, but he always starts the season out strong and then he kind of falters at the back half. And so I want to give him his flowers now for his performance because, he's going up against Max.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, but he had a strong race. He won in Jeddah last year, so he's obviously comfortable at a track like this and does well, but he's had a good start to the season.
Yeah.
And I think like if you're looking at, okay, who's going to get that Red Bull seat next year, like no one else has shown any sort of signs of anything, I
mean, no, it's 2 races in,
but he has, he's showing like, yeah, I'm a strong, capable second driver.
But this is also pretty standard.
Yeah, we have to wait. You'll
be curious to see what he does.
The fact, the truth is last season we only had 22 races because Imola was canceled.
Oh yeah.
So basically these first 2 races, it's like they didn't even really matter because now it's, we have the same amount of races left as we had last year. So still lots to be played for, and opinions, the other thing, opinions change so quickly in Formula One. Like someone could have a terrible performance one weekend and then a great performance next weekend and everyone's like, they're the best, or vice versa. So wait and see.
Fickle place.
All right. Top of the pyramid. It's a tie this week. First on the top is F1 Academy.
Yeah.
Because they had an excellent start to their season. I thought it was they handled themselves so perfectly. The racing was great. It seemed like the support was excellent. Susie Wolf continues to just, do everything she can.
Yeah.
And despite everything going on surrounding F1 Academy and what's going on in Formula One, it was like a nice bright spot in the weekend of like hope and what's to come, and it was exciting. It was fun. I loved it, and I'm
excited to watch. I saw a lot of like social content and stuff, and it was just nice to see them there.
It was good. And then the other shared spot for the top is Mr. Ollie Bierman, because
with an honorable mention for his father.
Yeah, exactly. He is just
a
gem, and like
gem.
Yeah, he's just so precious, and he's so cute, and he did such a great job, and he came in there and crushed it, and that pressure has to be so intense. And
it was so interesting too, like after the race when he was on the radio, well, he got driver of the day,
excellent.
But then when he was like doing like the debrief after the race, I'm like, first of all, it's impressive when an 18-year-old's that professional, but you're just like, dude, you just got P7 in a Ferrari for the first time. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Get
he
excited.
was very calm. Actually, my dad was like, he's giving Oscar energy.
Yeah, he was giving Oscar energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did a great job. It was fun.
And again, I think it just goes to show you, I mean, how often we've seen these drivers that have come in. I mean, and you could even add Nick to this list, right? Like Nick, Liam, Ollie coming in, really doing a great job. Mm-hmm. We need more seats.
Yeah.
And I know there's people who are like, there's old people on the grid, veteran types who shouldn't be there anymore, who should give way to these.
I don't agree with that.
I mean, there might be some truth to that in some elements, but I think what the biggest thing is, we just need more seats.
Yeah.
We need to give, because the gap between these drivers is really not that big.
Yeah.
And more drivers deserve to get on the grid, and it's just a missed opportunity.
Agreed.
All in all, I did see, it was funny that, so it was, okay, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think it was Lewis, or no, it was George, Ollie, mm-hmm. Lando, Lewis as the finishing positions, and people screenshotted it and they're like, this is One Direction.
Oh my God.
Because they're all British drivers.
Yeah, so good.
I was like, that would be a pretty awesome, I mean, interesting age difference. Lewis being like 20 years older than Ollie could be his father.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, that, it kind of, they all kind of fit a different like
vibe.
Role, which is kind of funny. Though I guess Ollie and, well,
I was going to say Ollie and George have a similar vibe.
More like cute and sweet. Yeah. And that's not words I would use to describe George.
No.
But they're both tall and skinny.
Yeah.
So anyway, happy for Ollie.
Yeah.
Sad that it came at the expense of Carlos's appendix, but these things happen in Formula
Chinese
One.
farmer.
We'll have to see how that unfolds throughout the rest of the season. Anything else to add from this week?
No, I'm glad that we're
closing the chapter.
Yeah.
So we'll be back not next week, but the week after for our Australian pyramid ranking to see, who gets on the top, bottom, all very curious things. Make sure to subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, it's all simple. It's free. Just hit a little bell and you'll get notified when we post. And we are a delight. So you want to know when we post.
You will want to know. And, who knows what's to come?
Mm-hmm.
Anything. Anything else?
No.
All right, guys. See you next time.
Enchante.